back, everybody. Thank you for sticking around. So, Doc, I got to know how perfect are the Republicans? You just gave us the rundown on the Democrats. How perfect is the Republican Party?
On a scale of 1 to 10, being Republican means you are perfect at a 10. All right. Now, on a scale from 1 to 10, depending on how slimy you are as a Democrat, it's just naturally between an 8 and a 10, depending on wherever.
Well, we have a lot of natural oil as Democrats. We got to. I mean, it's. I don't want to say birth defect because I'm pretty sure it's a learned behavior, but it's the weirdest thing when you're 12 years old and you tell your dad I want to be a Democrat. After he starts crying, after he gets done crying and being so ashamed of you, you start just sliding off every surface. It's the weirdest thing. But go ahead.
All right. Well, there's our levity for the show. The truth is the Republicans have not done that great a job up until Trump of recruiting the working class. Blake points, I don't think supporting a union means you're supporting the working class, right? And the left does. But we, as a party, have come out, and this started with Reagan, actually. Hey, listen, I want everybody to vote. We're for you. And the problem is they motivate these people. This is part of the problem with the Tea Party. The Tea Party comes out. They're motivated. They are a middle class, working class group of people who are denigrated by the left, which is what they do. But at the same time, when people that were elected by the Tea Party get in there, the Republican establishment does everything they can to get them out. To, quote, purify the party. Honest to goodness. This purification process worked great for Christ. And until you are Christ, it's not going to work that well for you. You're going to have to be able to deal with these people that get elected from the working class. I'm not saying that the Tea Party was dupes of the Republican Party, because I know a lot of these people, and they're trying hard to get their voices heard. But the Republican Party, in a lot of ways, has turned a deaf ear to the working man's plight. We talk a lot about globalization and sending our jobs overseas, but we don't ever do anything about, let's figure out how we're going to get manufacturing back here. The other thing that I'm going to point out is I read articles all the time from financial magazines. Doesn't matter which one. CNN Money, Forbes, name one, I'd like to read it. All of them say the same thing. All of this globalization helps the common man because it makes things cheaper. It doesn't make things cheaper. If you lose your $20, $25 an hour job, you're now working at $8 an hour. That doesn't make things cheaper. If you're working at a third or a half of what you worked at before at your good manufacturing job, being able to buy a $5 sub doesn't make you wealthier. It makes you even more poor. And that's what the Republican Party is not getting. That's what the elites try to essentially dupe the working class. One of the things, now I'm just going to let everybody know, I'm running for Polk County GOP chairman because, like Lefty, I think we need to make some changes. I would like to be able to focus more on being able to help the regular guy. And I think both parties leave that behind because Lefty is right. It's now becoming about winning and not governing.
Yep.
So I want to take a moment to read a very interesting thing from a listener. Once we draw that line and wrap ourselves in our sameness for whatever is chosen, we then fear the other, no matter what, because it threatens the order. Oh, rats, just got another text message. Threatens the order that we have created within our lives. So I think that's pretty good. You pick, you choose, you try to line up. And the truth of the matter is this is such a nasty election, I would expect people not to show up. There's a lot of people going, I don't even want to deal with it anymore. We were talking about that during the break, about we have to take this show in a different direction. Because honest to God, I'm so sick and tired of the negativity. Our show started out by being a show with two people with opposite views trying to come together. And in the last 3-4 months, all it's been is your person sucks, my person sucks, everybody sucks, and it's awful. So, that's my spiel about this. I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Well, I'll tell you this. For years, going back to at least the Bush administration, well, actually, I mean, every campaign that I can remember has been. You've heard this same thing, that we're not talking about the issues enough. We're not talking about policy enough. We're not talking about what these guys are going to do enough. We're not, there's all this criticism that all these debate topics, they go off in their stump speeches, and we're worried about who we can have a beer with, or hope and change, or compassionate conservatism, or make America great again. All this sort of surface level stuff. And the issue is because we are concerned more with the who's ahead and who's behind, who is making news in some kind of flamboyant way. Now, all that's good, all that's necessary. You got to have a personality, and you have to have a vision, and you have to be able to articulate that vision. But folks out there who are, and I'm not speaking in a partisan way, but folks out there who are looking for something to do with this as yet unknown America that Donald Trump wants to bring in, or who want to stand in loyal opposition to him, I think the work is going to be hard, and it is going to have to take policy by policy by policy. And Democrats, and I'm sorry, Mac, but Democrats, damn it, if you can't find one thing now, if the Republicans want to just throw away the Constitution and do all these different crazy things that the Democrats are accusing them of, if that's actually what happens, sure. Be a protest party and go after it and stand up for what you believe, and that's fine. But if Donald Trump comes to you with an $800 billion infrastructure package and says to the Democrats in the Senate, "Look, you don't have a whole lot of power now, but I want to rebuild every single airport in this country. I want to put people to work, getting our bridges put back together. I want to be more aggressive than Barack Obama ever thought of being, and I've got the votes in the House of Representatives to do it." Get behind that guy. I saw somebody on MSNBC. I saw one of the hosts on MSNBC bring this very point up and say the danger, of course, is that gives him political capital, and that the next step that he's going to want to do is then turn around and privatize Social Security. And if you give him political capital on something he has success on, then he's going to have success on something that you don't want him to do. Policy by policy, vote by vote. You don't win these things on paper, as we saw. The country works better with more infrastructure. Then you mobilize your support and say, we're not with you on this one, and we're going to debate the thing until it's dead, or until you win. That's how you make this country great again. You have two strong parties, button heads about things that are important, standing true on their principles so long as that principle is not my side wins. That's the difference. You and I had this conversation a long time ago, where I said, remember this? It was this kumbaya moment I was trying to generate, and I said, you know what? I bet that we agree on these different goals. It's just how, it's the different path. And you argued with me because it was coming down to these principles. It was coming down to where I'm not gonna raise, one of my principles. I'm not gonna raise taxes for any single reason. That's one of my principles. That's not a principle. That's a policy choice. Your principle can't be taxes, because that's a policy choice, right? So a principle that I hold is that for example, a free and independent media. And this is hypothetical, academic exercise. Let's say Donald Trump comes in and says, we're going to start liberalize. We're going to start bringing in the UK libel laws into this country. We're going to start suing reporters and stuff. Now, my principle is a free and open media, and I'm going to stand against him on that, but I'm going to address the policy. Not that he's some craven lunatic, because that is a distraction. That's not how government is supposed to work.
Well, I agree. Well, you want to talk about the impact that this election has had on the libertarians after this?
But yeah,
sure.
Do the libertarians exist anymore?
Well, they do, and a lot of them got some votes. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back right after this break. Remember, we cannot do what we do